Greetings, I am at chess.com battling the Luk AI bot, and I saw it pop up when I thought it was rated around 900 or something. I was like, okay, cool. Then I went to it and it was 11 something, and so I saw where the more chess.com people play it, the more the ELO jumps up. So I was like, okay, well, I'll have to play that one of these days. And then I saw it was at 1300, and I was like, oh my dear Lord, I better play that at lunch. And then it jumped up to 1700, and then 19 something. I played that game, and then finally I ended a draw when he jumped up to 23-22. I couldn't believe it, how fast he jumped up. A lot of people must be playing him. So I played these three different levels, 1700s, the 1900s, and then finally the 2300s, ended in a draw, which is great for me because at 2300 bot, I usually lose. That's where I start crapping out. So anyway, let's take a look. Let's get to it. Let's do it to it, as some people say. I personally never say that, but some people say, let's do it to it. So let's, as some people say, do it to it. So here I'm battling Luk AI bot rated 1713. I played the white pieces, and I'm just trying to get my minor pieces out there and get them developed. Just playing some good, clean chess, or at least I'm trying to. And when you start off, remember, it's just a battle of trying to control the center. And if you're familiar with my videos, you know I love messing up my opponent's pawn structure. And so the Richter scale has me down by 1.53, I think that says. So, yeah. I definitely make some mistakes playing this game, but I didn't think I was doing that bad. But looks like I pick up the pace here. And I kept thinking about going here, and I should have, and I finally figured that out, I think, here. Oh, it was at this moment. Okay, so let's go back and look at this. So I like controlling this square. I got two pieces, and my opponent only has one. However, this is why he moves that knight, because now it's my position is not as strong as it was now that he's got two pieces lined up. When you're playing in chess, if you see this pieces lined up, that's something to always watch out for. Whether it's you're watching out for it, as in you're trying to do it, or your opponent's trying to do it to you. So here's a little pin. It takes me a long time to actually get anything out of it, but I do got this bishop in a pin. Okay, so we got some. All right, so it's coming down, attacking my knight, but I like using my pieces together. That's the key to this whole thing, is get your pieces around the king and get them working together is what I'm trying to do here. And so let's keep this going. Okay, so here it's kind of a neat thing because, you know, if he takes, he'll lose his rook, which is worth 5 points. Bishop's only worth 3. So I'll go ahead, same situation. Okay. So now I am up 1 point. I think I'm up 1 pawn. Yeah, we both have one major and one minor. And so let's see if I can get this thing turned around. And now we're evened up point-wise. Okay. All right, so I thought I would rather attack this. A little back and forth there. All right, so now we're evened up. Okay, so I'm protecting this position here. All right, so there's check. And now these two pieces can sit here all day just like that. So that's good. All right, so a little back and forth here. Now that I've got that position defended, I can take that. All right, so we'll exchange, and now it's going to be a race to get the queens out here. And so when you're promoting a pawn, you want your king on top of the pawn to promote. Okay, and so there it is. And so the biggest takeaway is, remember, just to control the center and get your pieces out there, develop them. Now with this, I just like to cut off the king. Now this Luk is going for a stalemate, so I want to go here so that my opponent has these two squares, excuse me, to go back and forth and see, and then there it is. So that's mate. All right, so this Luk 1713, I don't understand. You know, it goes up at ELO, but I don't know if that's like for every time, like it's for everybody it's 1713 right now, or just for me. I think it's everybody. But anyway, a lot of fun. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so here he's jumped up and he's rated 1921, and I played the white pieces. And again, just trying to control the center and get my minor pieces developed and get them out there, get them controlling the center, and then later I get my major pieces out over here. Okay, so something to keep in mind. All right, so I wanted to defend this pawn here. That's why I scooted my queen back, and I like these being lined up. Ultimately, it doesn't go anywhere per se. However, this is the same gag that I used the last time, and that is that messed up my opponent's pawn structure. There is a little danger in that, and that this rook can slide down and pose a threat for future ideas if you ever move this bishop or you don't castle or something. So watch out for those future ideas. Oh, there it is right there. All right, but I castle to defend that. Okay, so Richter scale has me up by 1.96, if I see that right. Okay, so let's keep this going. And I really like to bring this knight here and do this fork is what I was thinking. And the knight's defended by that pawn. So unfortunately, I was not able to put together that nice little fork, so I just had to abandon it. You know, one of my, here, maybe I can do it again. It's been a while since I played this game. Yeah, okay, that's now I remember. Okay. But, you know, I get an idea in my head that, you know, hey, I can do this fork, and then you try to force it to happen, and then you get in trouble. So, okay, again, this same, I love doing this. These pieces can sit like this all day. They're protecting each other. They're working together. That's pretty good. That's what you want. All right, so I was able to take that pawn out. All right. And I wanted to do, let's go back and look at this. If it's take, then my opponent would not only have an isolated pawn, but they'd have triple stacked pawns, which is very good for me, bad for my opponent. So I would gladly do that trade. The opponent at 1921 is like, yeah, we're not going to be doing that. So, and I didn't think they'd let me get away with it, but you never know. All right, so I wanted to go there, but the bishop is still protecting that square, so was not able, access denied. So now this cannot take because it would be, can't put yourself in check. All right, so now you see that I've got, in the end game, we've got two rooks versus a rook and a bishop. Okay, and so I believe I am down a pawn though, but there's a double stack pawn here, so that's nice for me. Let's see if I can get out of trouble here, and I can, so there's that. And I like getting my rooks lined up. I am aware that my opponent owns both this, but this is a neat little end game that comes together here. And it's just, this when you get your rooks lined up, usually it's you want them on the 7th rank, and they call that pigs on the 7 because you can swing back and forth and they eat everything in sight. So now I have to watch out for this square. So this makes my pigs on the 5th a little difficult to pull anything off. So, and I don't like, my opponent has these pieces working together, closing in on me. I don't like that, I confess, but it is what it is. So, and here's where, in this situation, I like to stick close. Let's go back and take a look. I want my audience to see. These pieces can't work together now. They can't defend one another. As soon as you step out, one of them's gone. My opponent is trying to promote, and they're doing a pretty good job of it, so I have to really be careful of that right now. All right, so I'm probably going to have to sacrifice a rook, but I'm prepared to do that. If, yeah, no, I don't have to there. Okay. So, I want to show my opponent's going for a stalemate. So now, and I'll show you one thing to watch out for, because this is, I've played live games and fallen into a stalemate trap when I should have won. And so here, my opponent has to be able to move. I can't do something silly or it'll be stalemate, okay? King can't step down here. This bishop can't move. So I've got to allow it to be able to move. And that's like the thing. And so what I decided to do was I'm just going to bring the pawn into the game and promote it. And here's the problem here. If bishop takes, rook takes, and then the king goes here, and then the rook comes up here, and it's mate because I'll own these back ranks here. So you have to be slick about it. And here, this would have been the same problem now. If I would have promoted, okay, then it's stalemate. So I had to do this, move this pawn just to, now my opponent has to move. So there it is. And now that's mate because it's check and this queen has this cut off. So it cannot retake this rook here. So that was game at 1921. It was a tough game. It was at 65 moves. So he's getting stronger. So here he's at 23-22. And I'm like, oh no. These bots on chess.com, I start crapping out about 2,300. 2,100 is about as high as I can go. I can do a 2,200 if I have a Saturday afternoon with a few hours to spare. 2,300, once in a blue moon I can beat one, but usually not. This ends in a draw, so I kind of surprised myself, and I went back and reviewed the game and wished I had done some things a little differently. And this is one of my favorite openings, by the way. And so take. Now the queens are off the board, and I like that my opponent has double stack pawn, and the center of the board is open up. We got one open file. The D file is open. The E file is semi-open, meaning there's one pawn there, as opposed to this would be a closed file, and this is semi-open. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's see. And I did overlook that in the game, and I was kind of mad at myself for letting this happen. But like I said, I made some mistakes in this game. And this is tough because my opponent owns these two squares. And so my king is kind of stuck. You can't, most games, if they're evenly matched, only last about 42 moves. And so you can't be, moving your king here and then here or whatever. It's frustrating with that, this knight down here. Okay, there's a check. It doesn't really go anywhere. I'm trying to My biggest weakness is I've got to get these pieces developed, okay? My knight out here is not going to do anything. One piece by itself won't do anything. I've got to get these pieces out here. Now, I want to show this. Let me go back just a little bit. I moved this up here because I wanted to threaten this, and if the bishop took, I would take back and be threatening this darn knight that's been a pain. So that was my reasoning for that. And so anyway, let's keep this going. This is an odd game. The position is odd. Like I said, the H file's semi-closed, semi-open, whatever you want to say there. Now, there is one thing coming up that I want to show. See here, the Richter scale has me way ahead, and I feel like I should have not ended in a draw. And yeah, that was. Let me go back and look at that. Yeah, that was. Definitely could have done that better. The problem is this. Here's what the problem is. My king's here. This is a semi-open file, okay? All it has to do is come here, and this piece is pinned. And I need this piece, as you're going to see here in a little bit. That's the problem. I should have, early on, before I started all this, that's a great plan. But first, I should have dealt with this and got that king out of the way. I felt like that made all the difference in the world. And it sucks because here it is. I was thinking I could go here, and this was going to lead to a victory. The reason why it didn't is because I'm pinned here on the F file. And I realize that, and I'm mad at myself. So we have to end up doing this exchange. So now I'm setting up for an in-game. I do have 2 minor pieces. My opponent only has 1. So you would think that I'd be able to pull this off. It ends in a draw, and I'll show you. Now, I was playing a game a couple weeks ago, and it ended in a draw because there were 50 moves where nobody had taken a piece. It was similar to like how this is going, and it was just kind of this little standoff. And if this stupid knight wasn't here, this would have been this troublesome pawn. I could have took it out, but like a moron, I put my knight in harm's way. But anyway, 50 move, no captures. Ended up being a draw, and it was a game that I should have won. And here I did a little exchange. Let me go back just a little bit. The reason why I did this, I know I'm going to lose this pawn, but these pawn racing down is dangerous, and they're separated out. I can't. That's too much work for my king to hop over here, hop over there. I do have some minor pieces yet that could help out. I get it, but yeah, I wanted to do that exchange and get rid of that troublesome situation there, if you will. And so, yeah, that was a wasted move on my part. There, I finally got rid of that pawn. Richter scale has me way up, and I still managed to screw this up. Yeah. Yeah, right there. And I was thinking take, and then I thought after that, then I was like, oh, well, what if it doesn't take? So now I've got my knight protecting this, and this definitely has draw written all over it. The computer has this dead even, looks like. So it's frustrating. It would have, there it is. And so that's draw. It would have been so nice to beat a 23-22. Like I said, I very rarely beat a 2300 bot. 22s I can. usually if I have a couple hours or something. So anyway, a lot of fun. I'm afraid to play next. So